Hello and welcome to Snack Time.
Welcome to Snack Time.
Yay!
We're doing a special episode this time because today is the 25th anniversary of the North American release of the Sega Genesis. So we're gonna play some Sega Genesis games.
You're gonna play some Sega Genesis games.
I am going to try to play some Sega Genesis games. But yeah, so with me as always is Andrew, and joining us for this episode, and also celebrating the 25th anniversary of his North American release, Lucas. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Not bad.
Alright.
Yeah.
What were your launch games, Lucas?
Oh, geez. August. Didn't the Game Boy come out that year? / close to the month?
The Game Boy came out in 1989, so...
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was,
that happened.
wasn't that, like, a couple weeks ago? I believe we were going to celebrate, but we missed it.
Yeah, we missed that.
Yeah. But anyway, so to start out, we are going to check out this game right here, which I know, Andrew, you're quite fond of.
The best Genesis game.
Okay, Andrew says it's the best Genesis game.
The best game.
The best game?
No.
Do we need to go revise that?
Yeah, I might.
Okay. This is Dynamite Headdy.
Yeah, so...
Andrew,
this
how
is
do
a
you play
game
Dynamite
where
Headdy?
you throw your head and you hit things with it. And you jump around.
Is your head dynamite?
Not well. It can be. There are powers where it can be very explosive.
Oh, I see it now.
Yes. But yeah, this game this is a game by Treasure, one of the greats, both Treasure and the game.
It's Rayman with the bow tie.
Rayman doesn't throw his head though. That'd be pretty great if he did, but. But yeah, it's a crazy platformer where you just basically throw your head at the enemies and you kill them, and then you get power-ups, and the levels are all kooky, and the North American version is specifically way harder because there are continues, but they're very hard to get.
That's strange because games usually went the other direction.
Yeah, the Japanese version.
Americans can't handle this.
Yeah. No, they were like, no, Americans are serious hardcore gamers. They can take this. They just take out those continues. They can beat this in one go. So
It sure does look like a Treasure game.
it's so colorful. I love it. This game's great.
Would you say it's a treasure?
Whew. Yes.
Are we watching a cutscene? Is that what's happening?
No, this is gameplay.
Really?
Okay.
Yes, he's controlling that. I mean,
how do I beat this cat?
Okay, you gotta keep hitting it in the head. That is Trouble Bruin is his name.
What?
You know, Trouble Bruin. His name is Trouble Bruin.
He's not a Bruin though. He's a cat.
But is
he supposed to be a bear?
When he's around, he's Trouble's Bruin. You know?
I know for it to be a pun, he needs to be like a bear.
Well, I don't remember.
Oh, that's cute.
His name in the Japanese version is different. They just thought it would be clever.
Okay.
You know what? I don't know, man. Localization. But
okay,
yeah, like,
I see the cat now. I've caught up.
Okay, so I died. I died against the cat.
You don't do that. So the kind of cool thing about
right.
this game is kind of all takes place on a like a stage, and I don't know. It's cool. It's a neat setup.
Yeah, it's...
Man, I should be playing Dynamite Headdy.
Yeah, you should, but I'm streaming, sadly, for everybody.
Maybe next stream I'll just do a whole Dynamite Headdy playthrough.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, sure.
Can you beat it in one sitting?
It would take me. I actually wouldn't be able to do it in one stream. I'd probably have to start over a couple times. I'm a bit rusty.
You could do it on the RetroN.
I used to be quite the Dynamite Headdy player by day.
Yeah.
Not to brag or anything, but yeah, I do have the cart and a RetroN. Which,
yeah. Save states.
Hey, Yeah, save states. Yeah, there you go. Also, I have it on the 360, which also has save states, so I'm
So
covered either way.
since the last stream, you and I have both gotten a RetroN 5.
Yeah.
So
Are those worth buying?
Well, hey, let's talk about it.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm interested in your thoughts because I kind of had mine on the way for a while, but you
yeah,
just went and saw
I
it and
feel
picked it
like
up.
Every stream, you were like, and then next time my RetroN will be here.
That was
and
the
then-
impression that I was given.
Yeah. So this came out. When did this actually officially come out? Like March, April, May? One of those months.
May.
May, sure. So it came out a little while ago, but then it kind of went really quickly, and it's been hard to find online. But you got it through a Kickstarter for something else entirely, right?
Yeah, there was a Kickstarter for a 4-in-1 SNES multi-cart, and I was interested in it because the game In-Warp Daisakusen, which some people may have heard of, it is a homebrew game that uses 2 SNES multi-taps at the same time. That's one of
Yeah,
the
that
games
sounds like
that's on
something
it.
you'd like.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, pro tip, Graham, don't jump, don't do that. What you're doing right there.
Yep. Because I'm gonna try one more time, and then we'll move on to a game that I won't be quite as bad at, hopefully.
You got to get to the next couple of levels at least. This guy's
I'm not
easy.
sure that's
Come
gonna
on.
happen.
Yeah, just try one more time. You gotta try.
I'm trying one more time,
Okay.
and then I'll be out of
All right.
lives, and then I'll stop.
Okay. You can get him. You can. Did you know if you destroy that robot in the background that's roaming around, you get a secret bonus point.
I'm trying.
Yeah, it tells. It's like you got a secret bonus point. It says it like that. It's pretty great. Anyway, RetroN.
Yep, like that.
Yep. So yeah, so you got yours. So you backed the Kickstarter, and one of the reward tiers was to get a RetroN,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And that seems weird, but okay.
I mean, the thing was that basically you were getting the game for free because it was, at the time, the pledge level of the MSRP of the RetroN, which at the time was $100.
It was $100. Yeah.
At
Yeah.
the time? Oh boy.
Yeah, it's the official. The MSRP of the RetroN 5 now is 100. It has gone up since it was officially.
Yeah, I mean, they've added a lot of stuff to it, but also there were some technical difficulties they had, so...
Yeah. But yeah, so that's how you. So you've been waiting for this thing for a while, needless to say.
Yeah.
Me, I was just like, I would like to get one of those one day, and then I was kind of taking a trip around town on this past Sunday, just going to different game stores and other stores looking for stuff. I don't know, just seeing what they had, and then one of the stores that sell a lot of classic games had a RetroN, and I was like, hey, I'll take that.
So
And
what color did you end up with?
black.
Okay.
Which is the one I didn't want, but hey, it was a RetroN for the standard price. I like because if you try to get it online like on Amazon or on eBay, you're probably not going to pay less than
Yeah,
$200.
it's funny because the black one is the one that's everybody's having trouble getting.
Really?
Yeah.
But so this is the fun. So I went to 2 different stores that specialized in like older games, and both of them had one RetroN, and both of them were black. So
I think it was one of those things where the black shipment got delayed, so that was
Yeah.
the one they got in more recently.
yeah, probably yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was lucky. I got I just saw it. And I was like, oh, I guess I should get this, right? So I did, and first impressions, I like it a lot. As someone who doesn't actually own any of those original systems anymore, sadly, but likes to play retro games every now and again. It's a nice way to just be able to play those games. On an HDTV, it looks really good. On an HDTV, there's a ton of different video settings. Like you can turn scan lines on, and there's other filters you can apply. But even if you don't mess with any of that, it's just the games look really crisp. At least the ones I've played, and
Yeah.
and it's a very convenient package. If you're someone who cares about the authentic experience and playing, games on the original system, this probably isn't for you. But if you're someone who wants to be able to play all of your old Nintendo and Super Nintendo and Genesis and even Game Boy games on one system without having a bunch of different things hooked up, and can play it on an HDTV with it looking actually really nice, then this is really well. This is definitely worth it. I think, so far the only major problems I've had with it are taking the cards out of the system is ridiculously tough.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I feel like they didn't design the actual cartridge slots that well because, I think I tried a Famicom game that was fine. Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games come out fine, but it's like NES and Super Nintendo specifically, I felt like were really tough to pull out of the system. Like I felt like I was gonna break either the card or the system every time I had to try pulling one of them out. I knew that wasn't actually gonna happen, but it felt like something wasn't gonna go right. So I don't know. It's maybe it's something that'll loosen up over time, but like first impression, that's a huge problem. And also, since it's emulation based, once you put the card in, it detects the game and then it has to load it, and so you can access like save states and cheat codes and all that fun stuff.
Right.
It can be hard to have sometimes it can be finicky detecting the games, and you can if you put a card in and it just says unknown game, a lot of the times you can just play it and it'll be fine. You just won't have access to all that fun stuff.
Right.
But if you're gonna play on a RetroN, you might as well get the benefits of it. So
yeah, you just really need to clean your cartridges.
Yes,
too.
definitely.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a huge thing of Q-tips and some rubbing alcohol and that'll come in handy when I inevitably start going down the road of buying a lot of my favorite games in cartridge form. Now that I have this thing to play them on, so yeah, I feel like I've been talking a lot. Do you have anything to add, Graham?
Well, I will say the things it does really well right now. Are the things that matter to me. In that, like, I want to use it to play GBA games. That's where it's ideal because
the GBA games look really good on that.
Yeah, because they're widescreen already. The Game Boy slot actually doesn't have the cartridge problems that the other ones do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's a lot that it does right, and I'm happy that I have one.
Even I will say, even original, like I popped in a copy of Final Fantasy Legend 2, which we talked about last time, talking about our favorite Game Boy games, and even that, like an old black and white, the original Game Boy game looks really good on the TV.
Oh yeah,
like as good as those games can look on TV.
I have, just for the fun of it, been playing through Pokemon Yellow that way. The thing about it is, there are a couple things that make playing old games really, really cool. And for example, one of the things it does is it has you can map a button combination to fast forward.
Yeah.
Which you can get through a lot of old text and stuff that way, which is pretty cool.
Also, you can use. There's plugins for all the NES, Super Nintendo, and Genesis controllers, and you can mix and match. So you can play Genesis games with a Super Nintendo controller, or Super Nintendo games with a Genesis controller.
That's the one thing about playing this on a real Genesis. We wanted to do that for authenticity's sake for this stream, but once you've played Genesis games with a better controller than the Genesis controller, which is pretty much any controller. All
right. I like the Genesis controller, but I understand.
I think what has soured me on the Genesis controller,
are you using the 3-button or 6-button?
Right now I'm using the 6-button. I have both, but I think what soured me on it to begin with was I first played NBA Jam on it, and we may check that out in a bit. But the thing about the Genesis version is that it does the arcade thing where turbo is a button like any other button, and once you've experienced turbo as a shoulder button, you don't want turbo any other way.
That's understandable.
But no, it's fine. Especially the 6-button. The 6-button's nice. But
I will say it was a little, personally for me, it was a little weird playing some Genesis games with the Super Nintendo controller, mostly because there were games I had a lot of experience with. So as soon as I started using the controller, I was used to how I played that game with the Genesis controller.
Sure.
But then I played Dynamite Headdy with the Super Nintendo controller, and it's fine, it's good, but for me, it was just super weird because I was just not used to it. Even if it's not really not that different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that you can mix and match. So you can basically just play everything with a Super Nintendo controller if you want, and you'll be fine. It also comes with a controller, which is okay. Not ideal.
You shouldn't use that controller.
Probably not unless you're desperate.
It's nice that it has buttons for all the features, but it's just not well constructed.
Yeah. it's not great. It's better than a lot of I feel like it's better than a lot of recent. It's better than the Ouya controller.
Okay, so Heady's going to
Say
sleep. So how about we switch games and try something else?
Oh, did you get the sleep power up? That's how you get health back.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 So what should we jump to next?
Oh man. Well, I mean, if you want to do something different, we can go to NBA Jam.
Okay.
I mean, you'll probably be better at NBA Jam than Dynamite Headdy, so.
This is of the games here. Yes, I should be pretty decent at NBA Jam, but again, the turbo thing's gonna mess me up. But yeah,
You'll be fine.
yeah. NBA Jam's
I mean,
great.
I mean, overall, I'd say for someone like I was saying, for someone like me who doesn't have the original systems anymore, or even if I did, hooking them up can be a pain, and you don't have a lot of room. To hook all your systems up, and you just want to have a thing that plays all of your old games really quickly and easily, mostly easily. It's worth it. And like I said, I think the big thing for me is that all those games look just really good on HDTV, and that's the best part of it about it. So,
Absolutely.
Graham, you have a lot of games. Have you been able to stress test the compatibility?
So I have to a certain extent. All of my normal retail release games work. There is a certain degree to which repro carts don't work, and SF memory, the reloadable Super Famicom carts, they don't work. But yeah, mostly it's just a matter of my copy of Star Fox is really old, and so you gotta clean it really well. The thing is, all it has to do is read it right one more time. It's not like when you're playing it with a real system and you hit the system. Oh no! It moved slightly. So,
Right.
yeah. Star Fox works really well in this. Actually, I was actually just playing that earlier.
yeah.
Well, that's good to know, because a lot of the ones that came out before don't play certain games.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
Mario RPG, Donkey Kong Country, those kinds of things play on it.
I don't have carts with it here,
Yes.
so I can't answer the question. But yeah, probably.
Yes, those do.
Cool.
Yeah. So the weird thing about it, so the thing has firmware updates, and they're not automatic. You have to download them on an SD card and then load them. And it's good that they're doing things like that. There was a weird save bug with loading your saves back onto the cartridge. It downloads your saves and then you can use them there, but if you want to load them back on the cartridge, you can. There was a weird bug with a couple games, including Super Mario
just,
RPG.
Eat your saves.
Yeah, well, it would throw an error when trying to load it back.
Yeah.
But so they fixed that, but you have to update the firmware, and the thing is, at least with mine, I don't know about yours, Andrew, you also had to upgrade the system software, which is a totally different thing than the firmware. There's two different things you have to update.
Yeah, it's weird. But
So it's a little strange.
But it's cool that it supports that. So
Yeah.
even if it's a little bit of a hassle to actually get those things on the system, it's it's better than not having them at all.
Yeah, and they actually today just rolled out a beta firmware program. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah,
but the fact that they're testing things out, hey, we're gonna roll out this extra feature that. It's cool that they're gonna keep working on it.
Oh yeah, I do want to mention the save thing is actually really cool. Although I already ran into before I could even update the firmware, I ran into a problem where I think it was Metroid Zero Mission, the game on GBA. It loaded the save to the system and then just the save wasn't there anymore. So I'm assuming that's what that sort of thing is what the updates fix, because I updated it since, and I haven't run into a problem since. But that was just one game with it that ran into that problem. But it's cool because if you have a game with a dead battery, a dead save battery, let's say one of the old Pokemon games, which I think I have. I think it's I think we have Yellow, and the save battery it does not hold saves anymore. But you play it you just load it on the RetroN, and you can save that way. So.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, you can kind of essentially breathe new life into those carts, even if you can't actually save on the original hardware. You can play them through that, and you don't have to worry about replacing the battery or anything.
And it's weird, but they seem to be implementing some features you'd think maybe they wouldn't bother. So one of
Yeah.
the things that they like, okay, the Super Game Boy does not work on the system, right? That makes sense. Because how are you going to read that off reading that? But, I mean, they redesigned the system. It's kind of weird. It's, like, larger and kind of unnecessarily larger as a result, but they redesigned it so that the power base converter would fit. That's why there's that controller area in the back.
Yeah.
But also, like, I haven't gotten to test it, but apparently the Micro Machines J-carts, like the Genesis J-carts with the ports on them, work somehow. Apparently, like, Boktai still uses the sun sensor in the cart. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't expect it to do, but apparently.
Okay, since we're talking about compatibility, I want to go down a couple real quick.
Okay.
Do you have Sonic and Knuckles and also Sonic 3?
I do, and it works.
It does.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good. Okay. How about like something weird like Kirby Tilt and Tumble?
I haven't tried it, but I own it, and I'm going to give it a try, and I will report back.
I know someone who played through a lot of that game on the GameCube.
Oh yeah,
I'm not. It's a weird way to play it, but
it's a great way to play it.
Sure, sure. Let's go with that. Yeah. I also like WarioWare Twisted. I'm sure that'll work fine too. But
Yeah, I mean, if one of the tilt sensors works, probably all of them do. But yeah, like
and then
one of the
repro
patch
cards and
things was
stuff
like
that don't
increased compatibility with the mouse and stuff. So they're doing pretty good.
My copy of Tetris Battle Guide works. Now I now know that the one I bought 2 months ago.
Yeah, well, that game's great.
It is. It's awesome. Now that I've actually played it, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
We were playing Tetris Access last night. We had like 6 or 7 people. It was awesome.
I need to play that one.
Not quite as zany and Japan-y as Battle Gaiden, but kind of in
Yeah.
the same neighborhood.
There are some good modes in Access, definitely.
Also, Motocross Maniacs, pretty cool on the TV.
Oh yeah.
Just to go through all the carts I've bought since we started doing these streams.
Yep.
But yeah, we should probably talk about something else, like
Yeah.
this game of NBA Jam that's going on.
Oh yeah. So, though this isn't the platform of my choice, I'm holding my own. Also, I'm playing it through the stream preview window because of our setup. There's like a slight delay on everything.
Wait, have you been playing? Did you play Dynamite Headdy that way too?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It's like a quarter of a second delay. It's not, but yeah.
No wonder you died.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. You could use that as an excuse if you want, Graham.
Well, also, I'm really bad at Genesis games.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not trying to cover that up. It just exacerbates the problem that exists already.
All right. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to play it even like that much of a delay would be enough to throw me off.
But
just a different platform.
Anyway, so I'm playing as my home team, Charlotte Hornets. But the thing is, the Charlotte Hornets are like maybe the best team in the game, and that's not like me being like a homer. Like the 2 players here are like the best team for if you just want to push everybody down and dunk all the time, which it's NBA Jam, so most people do want to push everybody down and dunk all the time. So they're pretty great. But yeah, that or the Spurs, which, Spurs are fine, but then you have to play as Dennis Rodman, which didn't have the stigma then that it does now. Anyway.
I saw Dennis Rodman in a wrestling match once.
Was he just there?
No, he was wrestling.
Oh, okay.
He was
just like, yeah,
Hulk
we were
Hogan.
watching the game.
They were the bad guys.
I feel like you'd have to be.
It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm trying to come back and beat these Mavs.
You can do it.
I can, just a question
I
of
don't really
whether
understand
I
what's
will.
happening. I've never played this game.
You ever played NBA Jam?
What's so special? No.
It's
What?
awesome.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Play one of the new ones. Those are really good.
Yeah, it looks okay.
So they always hit those
I'm
full
not
court
really like
three-pointers.
A
So
sportsman.
Me neither.
you don't have to be a sportsman for NBA Jam. That's the
just
thing about
never-
NBA Jam. I'm not sitting here playing NHL 94 or something.
So right. So what makes NBA Jam NBA Jam?
Well, it's
Other
2
than
on
the
2.
funny
You push people down a whole bunch.
Voices.
It's got like crazy dunks, secret characters, special moves. It's like the Mortal Kombat of sports games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah.
In that it's those same guys. They made this game.
Pretty much.
Oh. Huh.
But yeah.
Gamescom.
Oh yeah? Gamescom happened.
Gamescom.
I mean, I guess it's still happening, but the part that mattered happened.
It happened. It is happening. It will continue to happen.
Yeah.
From now until the end of time.
Right, because the Tomb Raider thing happened.
Gamescom is forever.
Yeah, you want to just, yeah. E3 is canceled. It's all just Gamescom. 365 days a year of new game announcements and news
I mean,
from Europe.
okay.
Right. They had
I don't know where I'm going with
WWE
this.
there, so that's exciting to me.
Is that the thing? Is that the thing you're excited about from that?
Yeah, it's weird that that's a
apparently
major
there's some,
event for
leaked
WWE
gameplay
game.
footage. Because they got that 2K money.
Yeah.
That game looks
And
shiny.
They're just spending it, man.
That game looks really shiny. I saw
It does.
screenshots.
It looks so good.
Yeah, that's what you get with when you have the team that behind and the NBA 2K games helping out.
Just pouring money on it. Like buckets of money.
Yeah, you could tell it's
all over
it's very
Yeah.
it's crazy how much better it looks than the last game. And it was just from screenshots. I haven't actually seen it in motion, but
Yeah.
it's a huge step up. So yeah, we should talk about the
Dude.
Tomb Raider stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of weird considering what happened with the first game.
Yeah, so okay. Here's my stance on it. One, I'm really glad I have all 3 consoles. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, it sucks for the people who have a PS4, but I can play it still, so I'm okay. But yeah, but overall,
Yeah, you guys
like,
keep talking. I'm gonna
it's-
switch games.
Okay, what are you gonna switch to?
You'll find out.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Square would do this if Microsoft wasn't paying them enough money to make it seem worthwhile. I don't think they're considering like you said, the first game when it originally released, or well, the last Tomb Raider when it originally released was considered by them to be somewhat of a failure sales-wise, even though it sold really well. So
Yeah.
I don't think they would do something that's crazy if there wasn't if Microsoft wasn't really getting behind it. I get the feeling they're going to be spending less on marketing too. Microsoft's probably going to get behind that in a big way once it's actually getting closer to release. I think for the consumers, exclusives like this for the consumers is never that great. But
Right.
that's just a fact. But for Microsoft, and I think probably for Square, I think it'll be a good move in the long run. And I think once it inevitably does release on PS4 and PC and maybe even the older consoles like PS3 and 360, although it might still come to 360 because they said it's Xbox exclusive, so it's
Yeah.
probably coming out on 360 as well. But yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
We're never obviously gonna see the numbers because video games industry.
Yeah, exactly.
But how much is Microsoft having to give them, first of all?
I mean, I bet it's one of those things where
And how
Microsoft will do the marketing for this game.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That's a huge money saver for Square right there.
Yeah, but then what is Microsoft expecting in terms of sales?
They think it's gonna sell. They think it's gonna sell Xbox One the next holiday.
Yeah, that's
it's
kind
a
of
really-
it.
Yeah. Yeah, people really like that first. I keep saying the first Tomb Raider. You know what I mean? The last
Well,
Tomb Raider.
you may as well.
Yeah, the first Tomb Raider. People really like that, and I think with the release of the definitive edition, that I think it continued to sell really well on new consoles, and I think people are overall really happy about the series again.
Yeah, they kind of like broke even right before Definitive Edition came out.
Yeah, and that probably helped a lot too. So I mean,
Yeah, it seems so unnecessarily risky.
You know, it could turn out to be a huge misstep for both Microsoft and Square. I mean, you know, honestly, I don't think Square has that much to lose here. I think if anyone has anything to lose, is Microsoft. I feel like Square's still going to get a lot of money from this deal, regardless. And again, they don't have to pay for the marketing. So
I think that's
like
what people.
thing.
Yeah.
I think people don't necessarily realize how much of the publisher spending the marketing is.
Especially for a big game like Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if the marketing budget of a game like that is as large as the production budget.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean,
so
think about it,
when you're saying like we'll just cover your marketing, and then okay,
okay, yeah, sure.
That's a pretty good.
Again,
I mean, for a game that did not meet expectations, that's a pretty good way to get a sequel. You know.
I see this. Like I wouldn't be surprised if by the time next spring rolls around, there's the PS4 version. Like I don't think it'll take that long to come to new.
Yeah, I think it'll be April or something like that. Yeah.
As soon as their holiday deal runs out.
Exactly.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be
And think about it this way. I mean, how about this? So Destiny, that's coming out on all four consoles, both this gen and last gen. But the way Sony's getting behind that game, like. I know a fair few people who either forgot or never knew that it's also coming out on Xbox systems. Like the way Sony is getting behind that, it's like Microsoft has to occasionally say, "Oh yeah, we have Destiny 2, don't forget about us." But it's like it's because Sony and because Activision and Bungie have teamed up with them and making like the PlayStation versions, the go-to versions of that game, at least marketing wise, and in terms of like DLC and stuff like. That goes a long way. So, like, just imagine like Microsoft just cuts out like, okay, so let's just do that instead of having anyone have the chance to buy at least during the holiday on the other system. Now they have to come to us to get it at least at first. So, I don't know. I could see it being a huge like if this game actually does well. Then I can see it being a big thing for Microsoft and Square.
Microsoft also gets to avoid the inevitable tech controversy.
What's that?
So people are just going to want to buy Tomb Raider the second it comes out. So when the PS4 version comes out and it's slightly better,
oh yeah, true.
Everyone will be mad, but they'll have already made their money.
Yeah. Well, I would like to think that by that point, this is holiday 2015, that both systems, in terms of like multi-platform releases, will be pretty much on par. I feel like a lot of that stuff was first year stuff. I feel like once we start getting to the holiday releases and beyond, we won't be seeing those huge.
Well, I think it's pretty straight up like power stuff because the Kinect and all the other things the console does. So there's that thing that you can do that Blizzard was talking about now that the Kinect's not required. They might be able to pump more power into Diablo.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Sometime after it comes out. So I guess it depends on what they do with Tomb Raider when they make it.
And again, this is still not even like this is still like a year and a half away, so a lot could happen in that time.
Yeah.
So, not to get too off topic, but I see Graham's has been playing the best version of Aladdin right here.
Well, okay, let's. I think everyone can agree that it is among the two best versions of Aladdin. And the best version of Aladdin not made by Capcom. I want the consensus there, right? Like, there is no competition other than the Capcom game.
Yes, I can agree with that.
Okay.
There's Aladdin, and he's doing Aladdin stuff.
I mean,
so
the animation of this game is crazy impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it fits the Genesis better than the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin, right? Like, I think Capcom made a version of Aladdin for the people who play, Mario and stuff, and I think this is for people who are more like, I don't know.
Prince of Persia.
I was gonna say Prince of Persia, like Beyond Oasis, kind of like. It's a different sort of like actiony, less precise, more smooth kind of feel. If that makes any sense.
Sonic. Less precise, more smooth.
Sonic's just bad.
Whoa!
Sonic's
Happy anniversary, Genesis!
Genesis, your flagship games were terrible. Sorry. No.
Specifically, the controls for Sonic were never the best part of Sonic.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Okay. Yes. Okay. To get this out of the way, I love those games back then. I consider myself. I do consider that I was at one point a huge Sonic fan, and when the 3D games started coming out, I was like, maybe I'm not a Sonic fan anymore, but at least I have these classic games, and then I went back to those, I'm like, no, I'm not a Sonic fan anymore. And they're still okay, like, I think those games still have a lot of great moments to them, and I think Sonic 1 especially is still really cool, and I think 2 and 3 do some cool stuff, and Sonic CD is weird, but I like it too. But, like, going back to those games is really hard unless you're a super, super diehard fan.
All right,
you got those,
I am
those
gonna
rose-tinted glasses glued to your face.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna swap out games here.
Okay.
Before we swap away from Aladdin, isn't this one of the early Tommy Tallarico soundtracks?
It is.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's worth noting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
it's like this and what, the first Earthworm Jim?
Yeah.
And like one of the Prince of Persia ports, I think.
Sounds about right. I don't remember which one though.
Probably the Genesis one.
Yeah,
right.
probably. When I think of Tommy Tallarico's soundtracks of this era, I probably will always think of Genesis before Super Nintendo. So, his like, I guess just that Tommy Tallarico as a person seems more of a Genesis guy. So
he does.
Yeah, he was at MagFest one year, so he was kind of talking about the history of the stuff. It was really interesting.
All right.
Like, I guess the Genesis has some weird limitations that he kind of had to work around.
Yeah, definitely. But there's something kind of awesome about those limitations and how weird this Genesis sound chip is. Are you killing Aladdin?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Just turn the game off.
Because I was turning the game off, and then Lucas wanted to say something, so I held the power button down, and I couldn't control the controller with my finger on the power button.
Poor Aladdin.
All right.
Okay. All right. Is this next game going to be a surprise too?
Yeah, if it works.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Let's while we're booting that up, more Gamescom stuff. What else? What else happened? Okay, so Sony they showed some stuff.
The PT Silent Hill thingy.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
I haven't played it. I've seen. I'm too.
I downloaded it.
I downloaded it too. I still haven't. I have not worked up the courage to play it because I've seen other people play it, and it's like. I don't know if I'm ready for this yet. I'm really bad about, as much as I love horror games, I'm like, they terrify me. So it takes me a lot of willpower to work up to playing them. So like, I'm gonna get like when Alien Isolation comes out, for example, I'm gonna be like staring at the box for at least a good hour before I pop it in to like have to mentally prepare myself for that sort of thing. Probably when this comes out too. Hey, this is a good game.
Yeah, I just can't play games like that when my son is awake.
Okay, that's your.
So it's like, oh, I'm gonna play this game once he goes to bed. Oh no, I'm tired.
All right.
Desert Strike. This game's great. I think I like Jungle Strike a little more, but Desert Strike's really good.
Return to the Gulf.
These are great games.
I don't even think I've heard of this.
Really? You never heard of any of these games? Desert Strike, Jungle Strike.
I missed out on like the Genesis pretty big. I had a Super Nintendo like right before the N64 came out, and that's when I started playing games.
I was one of those lucky kids who grew up with both the Super Nintendo and the Genesis.
Yeah,
so
like
I experienced the console war on both sides. I was just a bystander.
Yeah, apparently my parents like argued about me having video games for a while before they figured it out and let me have one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's alright. I got the Donkey Kong Country SNES bundle. It was amazing.
That explains a lot.
It does. Explains a lot. Alright.
So was that your first video game then, or like one of your first?
It wasn't the first one I ever played, but it was the first one I ever owned.
Yeah. Okay.
Myself. It had like trees all over the box. It was sweet.
So, go back to the PT stuff and Silent Hills.
Yeah, so it's Kojima's bringing his Fox engine, I guess.
Yeah, and it's him.
And then Guillermo del Toro is involved in some way.
And it's and it's gonna be on I assume current gen only, and the interactive teaser looked really nice. So if that's just a sample of what to expect for the full game, even if none of that is in the actual game, it seems like it'll be a really nice looking game. And I've written about this on the site. I love those old school Silent Hill games. I love Silent Hill 2, legitimately one of the best horror games ever made.
I want to know more about who's doing what with this game.
Yeah, we don't.
Before I have an opinion.
I mean, I'm prematurely excited because I have a feeling this has a chance of being at least better than the last two Silent Hill games have been, or at least the last few. It's
yeah. I mean, that's.
So I mean, if anything, it has that going for it. And
right.
Again, based on the demo or trailer or teaser, whatever you call it, if it nails that atmosphere like that does. Again, I haven't actually played it. I've only watched people play it and freak out playing it. It seems like if it's going in that direction, maybe not first person exactly, but like that kind of atmosphere, I think it's a step in the right direction. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
It's certainly ambitious.
Yeah. Some people speculating that Silent Hills, the S is supposed to be kind of like a 5. Silent Hill 5.
I'm hesitant because Silent Hill, at least classically, is one of those things that tackle a lot of mature subject matter.
And it's Kojima doing it, or at least
it's lauded as one of those things that it handled said subject matter well.
Yes. Definitely.
And now we have Kojima's name, and I'm just like...
Okay, so this could be one of two things. One, it could just be a Lords of Shadow situation where Kojima's just getting out there in front of the game to get people hyped, to be like, I'm like going to be an executive producer. I'm going to oversee this, but I'm probably not going to have anything to do with the writing or the actual development. Same with like Del Toro.
It could just be his engine.
Yeah, his engine, and then Del Toro's probably there with some ideas, but like I wouldn't be surprised if it's they're not really that involved with the actual development. So it's hard to say. I think it was really effective to put their names out there first, though, because
it got people talking for one thing.
So
I want to know. I remember the trailer had a bunch of names at the end of it. I just haven't.
Yeah, I didn't look at that. I think some people are saying it's going to be Kojima's LA studio working on it, maybe. The one that he put together a couple of years ago that hasn't actually really done much of anything besides like motion capture for MGS5. I don't know how true that is, but people are, because that team hasn't really made anything outside of assisting with MGS5, so that could be their first big project. I don't know who's involved with that.
Yeah,
studio.
I want to know who is actually making this game.
Also disappointed. I was looking for one name in particular during those credits and the trailer. And that was Akira Yamaoka, and I did not see it. And that was
isn't he still shacked up with Grasshopper?
Is he? I know he's working. I know he actually. It was just announced that he's working on an indie game that isn't involved. That's that Murasaki Baby. He's doing the soundtrack for that. The game that's coming out for the Vita next month. So I don't know if he's actually like.
The guy's really bad at Desert Strike.
You're running into those mountains this couple times.
Yeah, I mean.
But you're blowing stuff up.
Yeah, mostly me.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, he's at least recently he was an employee of Grasshopper.
Okay. Well, like I said, he's working on stuff that's not Grasshopper, so maybe he has some freedom to do other stuff. Who knows? Or maybe he will work on this, and it's just not announced yet. Maybe they're saving that for an E3 or something.
Right. That would certainly get people.
Yes. Because those soundtracks, it's incredible.
Oh yeah, that guy is crazy.
Yeah. So I guess just real quick, you have a history with the Silent Hill series at all, or are you just kind of you respect them from a distance, never really got into them?
I kind of missed that boat and just never got around to trying them, but I'm kind of read on them because I was a huge Resident Evil guy. So Silent Hill was one of those things that I kind of encountered and learned about, but just never had
I think they're a little clunky now, but I think Silent Hill 2 and 3 in particular are really good still.
I was totally going to buy the HD collection
Yeah.
before things happened.
About that.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't buy that. But I don't think they're too expensive. I don't think it costs less, like anywhere than like $20 to pick up a copy of one of those. So
I'm so lazy. So.
Yeah,
I don't want to hook old things up because they don't look good.
I know. That's why you get the RetroN, and then even though it doesn't play PS2 games,
I'll stuff my PS2 disc into it.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Just put it,
best.
it'll fit in the Super Nintendo slot, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just one of those things I know about and I'm interested in, but just have not gotten around to.
Well, hey, if this new one's good, then that maybe that'll be a good entryway to the series.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do another HD collection.
This time it's good, we promise.
Yeah.
They should just get Bluepoint, the team that did the MGS collection. They should have just got them to do it. 'Cause that was a really good HD collection.
Some of the Enders was good too.
Yeah. Well, it was after they fixed some of the frame rate problems on PS3.
Oh.
When it launched, there was some major, like barely even 30 frames per second. Like it was some huge slowdown, especially in the second game. But they passed.
It took me a while to get to the second game, so I guess I never noticed.
Yeah, you probably started it right after the patch or something. But this game's great, Graham.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Mickey Mouse.
I don't like this as much as I think Castle of Illusion for me is still my go-to in terms of Mickey Mouse games, but this one's really good too.
Yeah, but so two things about World of Illusion that make it worth going back to. One, it's not as celebrated, so it's kind of hard to track down any other way. You know, like whatever Castle of Illusion, the original game was given away, in PSN as part of the new thing.
Right.
Also, this game has co-op.
Oh yeah. Pretty good co-op too.
It's one of
There's another Mickey game with co-op that's kind of weird.
I think that one's on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, the Capcom one.
Yeah. That one's pretty good too. I played a lot of these Mickey Mouse games because I played Castle Illusion on the Sega channel. It's something we should talk about.
You had no. You had the Sega channel growing up?
Yes.
Okay, so you got to tell us about that because that's the one like you can't like track down the Sega channel now. So my retroactive.
Is the Sega channel that thing they had in hotels? Sometimes?
Sega channel was like a cable subscription shenanigans.
Yeah, we had Time Warner, so Time Warner offered it, and I think it lasted for at least a year or maybe a little more than that. And what was cool about it, it was basically a subscription service where you were just every month there was a catalog of games. You just through cable, you just play them.
Did you play Pulse-Man?
That's how I played Pulse-Man for the first time, and that's also how I played Mega Man: The Wily Wars for the first time, which I would love to play again.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Isn't it bizarre that Mega Man: The Wily Wars was never released here? Like I get Pulse-Man; it's kind of a small market thing, but Mega Man? Sorry, Mega Man's not a big enough deal to release.
Yeah, no, that's what Capcom says now, not back then. I don't know what the deal was back then.
Burn.
What was Snap? Mega Man
was latency like an issue?
I was a kid,
downloads.
so
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but
What?
it does it downloads to the. It was like it's hard to explain. It was like a giant brick you plugged into the Genesis cartridge slot, basically, and then you plugged that into.
Okay, so you needed a Genesis.
Yes, you needed the Genesis.
Okay.
It wasn't like a separate thing.
Okay.
And yeah, it was great. I played. Yeah, that's how I played. That's how I played Rystar for the first time. I probably would have completely missed that until years later, and that game is awesome. I think it wasn't the first time I played Dynamite Headdy, but it was the first time I actually finished Dynamite Headdy because I never actually owned it. So I feel like a lot of Genesis classics I played through that, and I'm really thankful because otherwise I might not have ever played them. So it was for when you're that young and you have access, like you just turn this thing on and there's here's 12 games I can just play right here that I've never played before. It's kind of the coolest thing. So
definitely.
That sounds awesome.
I actually went back recently and watched old commercials and stuff for it because I remember those commercials and begging my parents we need to subscribe to we need to get this thing, you play all these games, it's so cool. and they eventually caved, and I was so happy. So yeah, nostalgia. Also, the menus were so 90s. It was crazy. Just like look up a video of like someone messing with it.
No,
Just
look.
at
The Genesis as a whole has been like, yes, it debuted in '89. This was like the 90s-ish 90s thing.
Yes.
Everything Genesis is super 90s.
Yep.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
except for
Yeah.
Alex
Maybe that's why it's my favorite system. Even though I love Super Nintendo, close second. Genesis is probably my favorite system.
Really?
I bought a copy of Power Rangers on the Genesis one time at a convention because it was like $1 or something.
That game's not that great, but
Yeah.
it's I remember playing it and liking it as a kid, at least.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
it came with like the box and everything,
Oh yeah.
and there was a paper in it. It was like a catalog for like Sega clothes and stuff,
Yeah, I remember that stuff.
and it was like denim jackets and all these other
Yep.
ridiculous '90s.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, here, why Genesis is better than Super Nintendo. Reason number 27. The Genesis cases, at least the original Genesis cases before they switched to the cardboard crap, those hard plastic cases are the best. A little hard to open, but the best.
They're okay.
They're the best. At least for cart-based games, they're the best.
Yeah.
I wish.
What do you guys
Nintendo
think
was
about
practical, I
my
guess.
nostalgia here?
Whoa!
I like. Oh, did you switch games?
No, you look at
No.
that.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
saw it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I don't actually have a CRT anymore. The last one I had just crapped out on me.
Well, good thing you have a RetroN 5 then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another reason to get a RetroN 5. But yeah, man. I want to. After this, I'm just gonna look up more videos of the Sega channel. It was great.
Yeah,
After
man.
this, I'm gonna do homework.
You should do. Here's your homework assignment. Research the Sega channel. And write a report on it.
I have to do algebra.
Oh. That's not,
You sound
quite
so
as
sad.
Fun. Not quite as fun, but I'm sorry.
It's alright. I'll live.
Actually, so there's the other Sony thing I kind of want to mention, mostly because I want to get your perspective on it, Graham, since you played the original Tearaway on the PS4. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I understand it because basically no one played Tearaway for some reason, even though it's basically great, and
Yep.
and porting that would have been basically nothing. So this, I mean, it's sort of a port, right? Like,
Sort of.
They're changing it enough so that
So yeah, so
people
it
can
doesn't.
play it
So
on a
it's not just playing a
PS4.
video game on a PS4. It's actually like, like they said, they're basically designing it again, like at least the gameplay and puzzles and stuff around the PS4 controller versus around the Vita.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like
if you
the
haven't
actual-
played Tearaway and you don't own a Vita, this is great for you.
Yes, that's the okay. So that's the good thing about it.
I
People
wouldn't
who
play it
like
on
play
this
Tearaway can play it.
instead of a Vita, right?
Okay,
Like, if
so
you have
yeah.
a Vita, you should play the Vita version of this game.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my thing. Like, you know me. If I could play a handheld game on TV, I will. But Tearaway is one of those rare examples of a game that felt not just because it was designed around the Vita, but because of the kind of the story it told and just how like personal it felt, that it was perfect for a handheld. If that makes sense. Like it was kind of like my experience playing Tearaway and having it like on a handheld where no one else was around to see me play it, and like I don't know, I feel like maybe I'm not explaining this right, but it was I don't know, it feels like a perfect handheld game, just kind of the way it's both designed and how the story is trying to tell, and how much is based around you kind of redesigning the world, and telling your own story through the way you like create things and attach them to the different parts of the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I hope that makes sense, because that's kind of why I love that's one of the many reasons why I love Tearaway, and playing it on a PS4 will probably be fine. I'm sure it'll be a great version of that game, and I'll probably play it just because I love that game again, and I would love to see an updated version of it to see how they change things around. But
yeah.
Actually, to me that is one of the best handheld games I've played in a long time. Like in terms of just a game, a game that I think probably could work on a console, but if you could play it on handheld, you should, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Do you guys think Sony will bother making another handheld console?
Nope.
After...
Nope.
Yeah.
Not unless things turn around for the Vita. I mean, the PSP did great in Japan, so that's why the Vita exists, right?
Yeah.
And then the Vita doesn't have Monster Hunter, so... Yep.
And it seems like Sony's basically just
Pretending it doesn't
given
exist.
up. I mean, it exists for the purposes of, hey, here are these great indie games you can play on the go and also on consoles, and here's something you can use with your PS4, and that's about it.
Yeah, I do
And
think...
all the weird Japanese games.
I think the
Yeah.
Vita will be around until the end of the PS4's life, just kind of as a thing you can have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it might have a surprisingly long life. But, yeah, I mean, I can't predict, like, 8 years from now, but it doesn't look great for it still existing, so...
Yeah, I think they'll, if anything, we'll get maybe one more redesign of the Vita at some point. It's super cheap and like is probably maybe even bundled with the PS4, and then they'll probably have maybe a couple of small games on it between now and then, and that's about it. But it's mostly going to be like here's something you can also play these cross-buy games on, and also remote play is pretty cool.
I mean, even still, the idea of the cross-buy bonus it's a pretty big deal. I buy things on that system as opposed to elsewhere because of the cross-buy pretty often.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it's serving its purpose.
Columns is great.
Columns is pretty good. This is
I like
Columns
Columns
3.
Oh man, I've never actually played Columns 3. I've only ever played 1.
So, I mean, it's basically just
spider.
Columns again.
Okay.
The difference is mainly that it has a 5-player split-screen multiplayer mode.
That's why you have this.
It's pretty great. This game actually wasn't published by Sega here,
Really?
which is kind of bizarre. It's Vic Tokai here. And also, if you haven't seen the box art for Columns 3, you need to look at it, because it's
I'm
kind
on
of the best.
I'm on it.
This game looks busy.
Especially when you compare the Japanese box art to the American box art. When you pull it up, I'll explain the difference. But yeah, man. But yeah,
This is another one of those Genesis things I never got around to checking out.
yeah.
Oh,
Columns is
Not sure what to think.
What is that box art? Why is that guy there? What is
So-
he looks confused too. He just like why
the
am I
difference
here?
between the Japanese and American box arts is for the American box art, they just Photoshop that guy on there.
Yeah, in the Japanese box art, it's these roosters, chickens, just kind of throwing gems, and then the U.S. one is just like this guy said, I don't know, I'm here, I guess. Let's play Columns.
Yep. So, yep.
Man, it's like the box art for that Bust-A-Move game on PS2
With the baby?
weird baby. Yeah, like fun fact, I've never played that game because there's a local game store that always had copies of it, and I was like, I like Bust-A-Move, and then I remember that I see the box art, I'm like, I don't want to play that. That's like the one rare example of a game's box art making me just not want to play a game.
Yeah.
If I saw it, I'd probably buy it.
I mean, now I probably would, but younger me was kind of like weirded out by it. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, whatever. Dude's having a good time playing some Columns, so.
Is he even playing Columns? He's just sitting there, like, confused. Or just complacent. I don't know. Is that how you play Columns, Grim? You just sit there with you like, sprawled out
This
your
game
arms.
seems
just
really difficult.
So, this is a Japanese-style, puzzle game against the AI. So, it's difficult, because every game like that was.
I mean, just like the way it's like a match 3, but there seem to be a lot of junk gems. Or at least it seems really easy to get yourself trapped in a lot of junk.
Yeah, I mean,
compared to
Columns
other
is definitely
games.
not my strongest game, so you're not seeing a masterwork or anything.
Are
but-
you facing off against the spider?
Yes.
Or is that just spider just... Oh, okay.
Okay, you're correct. I'm going up against the spider.
How can you lose against a spider? Just smush it. Just smush it with the blocks.
I'm trying. I just don't have enough blocks to smush it with yet.
Man, must be a big spider then.
Look at it. It's bigger than these blocks.
It's got Is it just have big eyes, or are those glasses?
I think it just has big eyes.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe it needs the glasses to see what it's doing. Maybe that's why it's doing so good.
Because I haven't stolen its glasses yet.
Yeah, you gotta knock the glasses off and then use that opportunity to.
Then he'll flash red, and then that means that I win.
Yes, sure.
Good.
Do you guys want to talk about games that came out recently that we've been playing?
Yeah. How about you? You've been playing some games.
You want me to start? I could talk about stuff.
Yeah. What games?
Okay. All right. Well.
Bring them on.
Because this will be brief, I'll talk about Hohokum. I have to write a review for that game, right? And I don't know what I'm going to say in the review. So this is going to be a trial run. Ready? All right. Okay, so Hohokum. This is a game where you play as this.
Is it a game?
This is an interactive piece of art.
Okay.
Where you play as this worm thing, and you go around these different worlds.
Yeah.
You interact with the environment by just moving over it, and you just kind of like move around, and you just and one of the levels they got these people, and they jump on the worm, and you glide around with the people on, and you can drop them off at different spots, and they do different things, and then there's one with there's all these pots, and you can break all these pots, and this dude gets really sad because he has to make all the pots again.
Okay.
I felt so bad for him after that.
When does it turn into a video game?
That
sounds like a video.
That's you got to break all the pots, right? But maybe you don't. I don't know. But yeah, seriously, like it's basically they give you a brief tutorial in the beginning, and then they say, okay, here are these portals you can go into. Go in them and figure things out on your own. And you get no instructions past that. So you enter a new area, and you just kind of explore and interact with things until something happens, and then you keep interacting with stuff until you save or rescue, or I don't know, you find a new friend, another worm friend, and you get this cute little cutscene with this awesome music. The music in this game is great, by the way. Best part of the game is the music. It's incredible. I want to buy the soundtrack. I think you can buy the soundtrack. And then you just do that, and I think there are like 14 or 15 different worlds, and basically, I guess the way to finish it is to just go through each world and mess around with stuff until you figure out what you need to do, and kind of like an abstract puzzle game.
Okay.
But if you don't care about winning, you just explore and just kind of relax and enjoy Hohokum for being weird.
Cool.
I think I like it.
That sounds really cool.
It's worth playing. It's worth checking out. I think it's something that you might not get more than maybe an hour or so out of it, but
I'll go ahead and pre-approve if you want the headline for your review to be "I think I like it" with a question mark at the end.
Okay, that's sure, okay. Yeah. If you're serious about that, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. I actually ended up spending I was thinking I'll play this for a couple hours and then maybe that'll be enough. But then yesterday there was this one world in particular. I think I was really close to figuring it out, and then I just was stuck, I think. But things kept happening, but they didn't seem to happen in terms of progressing. So I was playing that for like almost 3 hours, and then I stopped and I realized 3 hours had passed. So there's something kind of deviously addictive about it if you get really into it and try to overthink it. I do with a lot of games. So I could see this being something that you play and either you'll be like, okay, this is cool, and then that's it, or you get kind of really into and try to find everything. And there are these collectibles, which are basically these eyes, which you need to open up by moving over.
You need to open your eyes, man.
You need to open your eyes, man. You need to open your inner 250 something eyes. That's how many there are in the game.
That's too many eyes.
That's probably a lot. Yeah, I don't think you need that many, but there's a set number in each kind of world or level, and I don't know what happens when you get them all. Maybe something crazy.
Yeah.
But, it's
all right.
really
I got
cool
the
that
spider.
it
I'm going to move on to another game.
Okay. It's really cool that it exists. I think people should check it out. If what I said in any way sounded like something that might interest you, I don't really know how else to describe it. So I'm going to have a lot of fun writing this review. Sorry in advance, Graham, for having to edit.
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, it's interesting. I can also talk about Akiba Strip real quick while I'm babbling. Unless
Yeah,
Lucas
I mean
has something to talk
that's a
about.
game.
Okay.
I've been playing games I can talk about one or two.
Okay. I'll let Lucas go first, and then we'll switch to Akiba Strip, and then.
Cool.
All right. Actually, I was thinking about what to talk about, and I forgot to mention earlier that the Ninja Turtles 2014 movie video game is actually a surprisingly interesting thing.
The only one of these I'm aware of is this Kinect thing, which barely qualifies as a game, but
I forgot that existed. So I guess there's two Ninja Turtle games.
So which one is this? What is this out of?
Right. So this is on the 3DS.
Okay.
And it's something I just kind of rented because I went to see the movie with my kid, and he really had fun. It was just kind of like a fun, emotional thing for me.
Cool.
And so I kind of am back into Ninja Turtles again through him, and so I've been kind of playing games and watching movies and stuff. So I rented this game, not knowing anything about it, kind of expecting it to just be the usual, like, silly beat 'em up that costs $20 to make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually like a kind of entry-level Diablo clone.
That's not what I expected you to say at all.
Right?
I just immediately pictured like maybe a 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up, or maybe a 3D beat 'em up, just some kind of beat 'em up, but it's kind of like Diablo. So
it's like a isometric dungeon crawler with like loot and equipment and like weapon crafting, and
that sounds kind of neat.
Yeah, and like skill trees and just all this stuff, but like kind of on the simpler, almost rudimentary level. Like it's not like super dumbed down, but it really feels like these developers are just like, we have the Ninja Turtle license and we kind of like Diablo, so let's make something like that, but
for like younger audiences.
Yeah,
maybe.
For like kids.
Yeah, and that's the sign of a good kids game. It's like a version of something that. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not something I've really encountered before.
Yeah, like I feel like we don't see it that often, except with the exception of maybe like the Disney Infinity and Skylanders stuff. Like kind of, I don't know. I haven't actually played any of those. But
I haven't either.
People like them, so
yeah.
But like kind of like this is something that you know and like, but it's something that kids will be able to play and enjoy, and it's like you said, it's not dumbed down. It's just simplified, so they can get into it and maybe eventually play a real like Diablo or Diablo-like game, and at least a more complicated one. And
oh yeah,
you know, like that's. And it's using a license that a lot of kids really like, and yeah, that sounds actually kind of cool.
Yeah, like I've been going back to it a lot. I was expecting to just kind of tinker with it for a little bit and send it back, but
you know who developed it?
Magic Pockets, who are the same people that developed the last round of them, or at least the one that was on like the 360 and the 3DS.
Was that the Out of the Shadows game?
No, it was the other one that came out at the same time. It was based on like the cartoon.
Yeah, so I know Magic Pockets developed that surprisingly half-decent Wii, DS, and 3DS version of the Battleship game. Like good, but it was way better than that 360 first-person shooter because it was kind of like Naval Advance Wars.
Yeah, I actually always wanted to kind of try that. I'm sure it's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's basically like $5 at this point. So
yeah.
It wasn't like great, but
it was kind of neat for what it was.
It was better than you were expecting.
They sound like based on those two things, they sound kind of like a young way forward, like taking these like properties that by all means are cool, but probably won't turn into really good games, but they actually do something really cool with them.
What? let's not give them that much credit, but
I'm just saying, like,
it's possible that if they had the development time to do something good, like I do think, you know, even way forward stuff, like if they do a contract project and then they're just like, well, all right, you got 4 months, make this game. You can kind of tell. So,
I mean, I'm not saying they're by any means.
Yeah, they're a lot like that.
They're a lot like
I'm just saying, rushed way forward project.
Yeah,
like the way forward Transformers game, which is apparently like Super Robot Wars.
They have the chops.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like so. It's just cool that there are licensed games out there that people will inevitably buy because people actually buy those, especially younger audiences. Like, they beg their parents for those sorts of things, or save up their money to get something like that. And it's actually
that don't know any better. They get the game that has the thing on it that they recognize.
Exactly. So it's cool that those are actually, some of those are actually turning out okay. So I'm glad there are developers out there that don't just want to half-ass it. They want to actually do the best they can.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to put in our last game here.
Okay. So I just want to. We never even talked about General Chaos, but is this a good game? I've never played it.
It is a very fun game to play with other people on a couch. I apparently don't remember how to play it.
Oh, okay.
So.
There was a part where you and one other guy were like punching each other.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Okay.
I'm not good at it, but I remember it.
Is that just like a button mashing thing, or is that?
I mean, they got the idea from like hockey games. It's like you can guard, it's simple, but it works.
Wasn't there like a Kickstarter for a General Chaos inspired game?
Yeah, and apparently the people who made General Chaos had no idea why it was any good, and decided to make a cannon fodder ripoff instead of like what it really should be, which is like a real-time Skulls of the Shogun sort of thing. But it wasn't going to have any local multiplayer. It was going to be online only. The maps were going to be huge, and it was going to be mouse controlled. And like I really don't know what they were thinking with that. Like, they redesigned everything to like be like, look, fully polygonal environments. Like, no one wants that out of this game.
That's kind of the problem with going back to like older games and series that haven't been around for a while, and like doing like a Kickstarter that people will definitely fund because, you know, hey, you mentioned General Chaos, a lot of people like that game. Yeah. But they're like not actually paying attention to why people really like that game. And just kind of making something that seems similar but isn't really what they're looking for. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but you know, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever. That was a colossal failure of a Kickstarter, but it
didn't get funding.
Not even close.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
Yeah, they were asking for a lot of money because they were making an ambitious game.
Yeah. Clearly, they need to listen to you and just make General Chaos 2 just as simplified.
Yeah, like General Chaos HD widescreen cell shaded.
Was that Lucas?
Did it do better or worse than the Boogerman Kickstarter?
I don't think General Chaos got like 5% of its goal. So.
Wow. Man, I thought it was funded. I was not paying attention. I guess I just assume when something like that comes out, is based on some person's nostalgia, there's going to be enough enough support for it to actually just get it past its goal. Although I guess that's not always true with like Boogerman, and like there was also a Kickstarter for a new James Pond that didn't make it, I don't think.
I don't even think the Mutant League Football Kickstarter.
No, that one didn't make it either. And right now there's that Night Trap one, which I don't get, but hey, people have some fondness for that game, I guess. So, Toe Jam and Earl is a funky game.
Yeah.
Do you like Toe Jam and Earl, Graham?
I haven't played that much Toe Jam and Earl. Hey, Andrew, how am I supposed to play Toe Jam and Earl?
This game's great.
You just kind of have to wander around and find the things.
Yeah, but it's awesome. It's so weird and cool.
Yeah, like, what I have played, I've played co-op, and it's been a long time ago. So it's...
yeah, the co-op is awesome in this game. Are you at all familiar with the second one?
Yeah, and like I've seen the game played a lot.
I think the second one is underrated. I know people weren't happy that it was.
It's like Zelda 2, basically. Yeah, hey, they took the top-down thing and made it into a side scroll. Yeah,
but it's really good actually. If people actually play it, it's really good. No. So, we don't talk about that.
I just remember it existing. I never played it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
That was like, I feel like the one misfire from Sega bringing back all their old stuff, or from in that generation. That was the one big one that just did not.
There were a couple of misfires.
Probably a couple more. Yeah, there probably were more. But I'm just thinking that was like the big one for me anyway, as someone who grew up with these games and was looking forward to it. I'm sure there were more I can't think of. But.
Yeah, but anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
I can talk about Akiba's trip real quick.
Sure.
I feel like that's worth talking about.
Pancakes.
I mean,
yeah, I think, yeah. It's
a
weird game. It's super weird.
It's kind of like Hohokum that way, except there's more game to it.
Yeah, as you say, there's a lot of game in that game.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of dialogue in that game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of... Akiba's Trip is kind of a semi-open world beat-em-up, but with a lot of, like, dialogue choices, like, kind of like part visual novel, sort of. I don't know. I'm bad at this genre mashup thing. I'm just going to say that sounds right. But it's... So basically, it's a game where you fight these vampire-like creatures named called synthesters, and you do that by beating them up, damaging their clothes, and then proceeding to rip their clothes off so they burn up in the sun, because they're vampires and they don't get along with the sun very well. That's pretty much that's the thing. That's the thing this game is like. It's weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
So what I really liked about it was I actually liked the characters a lot, although they all were kind of tropey. They kind of fit. There was a lot of like standard cliche anime characters, but they were well defined enough that it didn't bother me that much. Like, I feel like the translation, the localization and writing turned this into like a much more interesting game than it had any right to be. I think that really helps. Like these characters are surprisingly not complex, but memorable and likable. Kind of in that like Sakura Wars way.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
You know, like they're not like
they're endearing,
amazing characters, but they're really charming. Like they're memorable, and you can't like not like them. You know.
Yeah, kind of like if you like anime, you're probably on board with these characters.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not a huge anime guy anymore, but I was still on board with the characters. So I could see some of the dialogue and jokes kind of rubbing some people the wrong way. Like there's your little sister character who was my personal favorite, but she tried her best to insert the word bro into a lot of words because she was your sister. She called you bro, so you're like sometimes she called you brotagonist or brotosaurus or brototype. Let's see, brotato chip, professor. There's one. That was one.
Okay.
There's a lot of those, and I liked it, but I can see that being the sort of thing that rubs some people the wrong way. So.
Sure.
What was that, Lucas?
It sounds like something Xseed has its fingers on.
Yep, that's an Xseed thing, all right.
Yeah, they have a very distinct style of localization, which totally works for the most part.
I feel like we haven't gotten that sort of thing, like in terms of like a distinct localization style since like Working Designs. So I'm pretty happy about that.
If you have an eye out for the 8.4 stuff, you can kind of tell it.
Yeah, that's true.
I have been playing a lot of it in the recent years, and you can kind of tell how like they can turn from serious to like the most like punny, like wit, like unnecessarily silly wordplay, just on the turn of a dime.
Really good at it.
Yeah, I mean,
but
not all games fit that, but.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing I liked about it. And there are dialogue choices. They don't really matter that much, although they do kind of affect your ending, because I didn't really get into this in the review, but there are a few different endings, and each one corresponds with a different one of the different like female leads, and based on your choices you'll get a different ending, or you'll just get kind of the bare bones ending, which is what I ended up getting, because I didn't really take a lot of time to dive into the different like character interactions there is, because I was kind of on a bit of a time restraint, but it seems kind of neat, like the way it's handled. It's not going to blow your mind with the choices, but they're kind of funny. They're kind of silly. There's a part in the beginning of the game where you pick this one silly option basically in the beginning of the game, you're kind of like in this dangerous situation. Like you sign up for this job interview, and you think it's gonna be cool, and then you just wake up and you're strapped to this table, being told you've been turned into one of these synthesizers, and you're gonna be forced to kind of like obey this dude, and like you're gonna lose you're basically gonna lose. You're gonna become a mindless drone. And some of your dialogue options are these like super silly things you can say, and you can just keep saying the silly options over and over again to the point where the dude who's holding you captive will basically say, "Okay, this guy clearly doesn't care. We're just gonna get rid of him," and then you get a game over in the first 5 minutes. So I did not expect that. There's stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of a visual novel sort of thing, like 999 and those sorts of games. But the actual gameplay isn't anything amazing. They're like I said, it's somewhat open world, but you won't actually enjoy it like traversing Akihabara because it's all broken up and there's a lot of loading screens, and actually navigating, like even just trying to find a way to buy items. Like there's a ton of different stores scattered throughout, but each store doesn't, like every store does not sell the same items or even types of items. So there are times where I'm like, okay, I need to buy a new pair of pants in the game. Because that's your armor is, you have a piece of headgear, you have a shirt, and then you have pants, and you equip different clothing items that kind of increase your defense. And I was looking for pants, and it took me like 10 minutes to find the store that sold pants. And instead of, they could have just had like a store that sold everything, but instead they had to break it up so they could be, I guess.
It sounds a lot like River City Ransom or Kenka Bancho. It's or Yakuza.
Like, it's definitely like that. It definitely has a lot of Yakuza vibes. Although I think Yakuza does a better job of communicating like where in the world you could buy certain things. Yeah. This game, it's just like you run into a store and all it says is in. So you press the X button, you go in and you talk to a random anime shopkeeper, and they sell you. We only sell healing items and hats. Oh, okay. Thanks. I guess I can't get pants here. And then you go to the other store, like, we only sell like shirts and like monitors you can use as weapons.
So do you get to like create your character, or is there like a pre?
It's kind of a lot of it's preset. Like I think there's a new game plus you dive into, which gives you more customization options, because then you'll have access to all your different equipment items and stuff from the get-go, from the first run, I think. But you can't like actually change your character is pretty much set. The only thing you can really customize is your name, and that's about it.
Okay.
But like I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure once you go through it a second time, you can actually play as a female character, and you can actually like change like your clothing items that from this get-go based on the stuff you had in the first playthrough, and maybe other customization options. But yeah, it's pretty bare bones in that regard.
I just haven't started it yet, so I'm pretty interested.
It's nothing amazing. I think it's a cool thing. The combat's I think pretty clunky, but I think the actual like the thing I thought would be really stupid is actually probably the best part of the game in terms of the gameplay, is the actual clothes stripping mechanic, because once you get like pretty early into the game, you get this thing where you can like chain. It's called chain strip, okay? It's called chain strip, and what you do is you go around and you damage the different clothing items, and then you'll know when it's about ready, when you can easily rip off the clothing item. And if you do it enough, like you say you're in a battle with 10 different opponents, if you damage a bunch of different clothing items like scattered throughout the enemies, and you strip one, it'll get the option to immediately strip the next clothing item, and it keeps going until like it's like a combo. Yeah, and you can use that to easily like take care of a bunch of enemies really quickly. So stuff like that, it's kind of satisfying, and in a weird way. Like you're still just stripping off the clothes of these people, and there are even human enemies you fight who like they don't die from getting like exposed to too much stuff. You just embarrass them and make them run away from stripping their clothes.
Yeah, like I sort of followed the game a little bit as it's kind of been talked about, and it seems a lot more in just like the weird comedy territory than like something worse.
It definitely doesn't take itself seriously at all, although there are definitely serious moments, but it's not.
It doesn't seem like it shares a room with like Monster Monpiece or anything like that.
No. Yeah, it's if you like this style of game, you will probably like it a lot. Even if you don't, it might be worth checking out on a sale or something, just out of curiosity. But
Do you know the developer offhand?
oh man,
It's Acquire.
Yeah, Acquire. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did the Kinka Bancho games, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely kind of that kind of zany, style. The combat is weird and not great, but good enough to get you through the game, And it's not a long game. There's a ton of side quests, but they're not. They're basically very very. The side quests essentially exist if you need money, but otherwise they're not really anything amazing. And the main story took me 7 hours to get through. So it's not like a super long RPG sort of thing, but I will say one thing: save often. The game doesn't autosave at all, and I had it freeze up on me 4 or 5 times, and 2 of those times resulted in lost progress. One of which was the first 2 hours of the game. Thankfully, you could easily skip dialogue, so it wasn't that big of a deal to get back to where I was, but. It's still kind of a hassle. So what I ended up doing was just basically saving after every main mission and just to make sure. But basically, it would freeze up often during loading screens, and also a couple of times there was this arcade machine you could play, and it's not really a great game. It's like a mini game, but it's not that great. But I wanted to check it out, and one of the times it froze on me when I was loading the arcade machine. So stuff like that. It's got some technical hiccups, but it's a weird thing that I enjoyed more than I expected, even if it's not anything incredible.
Cool.
Yeah, so I
looked up Acquired just in the interest of not sounding dumb. They're the Way of the Samurai Tenchu Shinobido people.
Yep.
So not Kinka Bancho, but it still makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell what kind of game it is.
Akiba's Trip is Way of the Samurai with less player agency, but more stripping clothes.
It's like a sillier version.
Yeah.
Although,
yeah.
Way of the Samurai is pretty silly.
Way of the Samurai is incredibly silly. Oh yeah, one more thing, real quick. Thankfully, like I said, getting around the world is a real hassle because of how the world is broken up and the loading screens and stuff. But once you get to it, once you enter a part of it's split up into different streets and stuff. Once you enter an area for the first time, you can just fast travel there easily, and the loading is just as long as it would take you to just walk from one screen to another. So it's a much, even if the loading is still there, it's a much faster way to travel around. And eventually, I just got to the point where I was like, okay, I know this is the store that sells this stuff, and this is where I need to go. So I'll just stop here, then stop here, and I didn't even bother running around at all. So yeah, I kind of liked it. It's really weird.
Great.
Yeah. I talked about that way more than I expected to. But I feel like it's worth talking about.
Cool.
That helps that I'm here.
Are you having fun here, Graham? Exploring this weird planet with.
I mean, Toe Jam and Earl is always pretty chill. So
yeah, it is. It's the kind of game you can sit back, play, and listen to someone talk about weird anime games.
Yeah.
Playing. Yeah. So. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Graham? Anything you played worth noting, or is?
So yeah, I mean, I've been playing games, but I can't talk about them until next week. Check back on Monday for our Tales of Exilia 2 review.
Ah, yes. Hope that one's good.
I do too. I still have a ways to go in it, so we'll see how that turns out. Do we have anything else on the list of stuff to talk about?
I mean, I guess real quick, I could ask you, what is this you put here on the list? Rumored Wii U remaster.
Yeah,
I didn't hear about this, so tell me.
Yeah, so there's a guy who's leaked some accurate things in the past,
okay.
Like the fact that Ruby and Sapphire were getting remade and things like that. There is apparently a remastered game of some sort coming to Wii U.
Okay, I read that as there's a remastered system.
No.
Okay.
But so that's kind of all the information we have at this point, and it's unclear what it's going to be, but it's fun to think about. A lot of people are assuming that it's going to be another GameCube game, but just kind of because of Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Because what would maybe Sunshine, but people don't so much like that game.
If they're going to do any Mario game, it'll be
Galaxy
games. And that's like the first thing I thought. When I think of...
Galaxy 1 and 2 remastered would be pretty sweet.
All they have to do is just render that in HD, which the assets are already there, as everybody
the game already looks gorgeous as it is. So, yeah.
So that I wouldn't be surprised. Anything like before GameCube would need to be a remake.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably. I mean, like, I think it's probably gonna be Galaxy.
What other, at least first-party Nintendo games on the Wii do you see like making the transition? Maybe the Metroid Prime trilogy at some point.
I mean,
maybe
like maybe Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is that the Zelda team would need to do that, and the Zelda team's busy. The Zelda team just finished it. Whereas I think everybody's kind of needs a break from Mario games for a while.
Yeah.
So I could understand if they're like, we're going to remaster Galaxy.
Yeah.
I could see that being the case.
What did you say, Lucas? I heard Donkey Kong.
I'm still waiting on that Donkey Kong collection. It's gotta happen.
Oh, like a collection of all the Donkey Kong, like Kirby Anniversary Collection sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure that Nintendo has the right people around to handle that old source code, unfortunately.
I mean, it would be nice.
I mean, you could just get. I mean, I know the Donkey Kong Country games were removed from the Wii Virtual Console, but aren't they coming back to the Wii U? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking. I have no idea actually.
I mean, if that happens, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean that's all. I mean that's all you really want, right? I mean, what other Donkey Kong games would you want on that collection besides maybe an HD version of Returns?
Donkey Konga in HD.
I'll take another.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll take a new Donkey Konga.
How about we just settle with Jungle Beat?
Jungle Beat would be cool.
Yeah. AKA the best Donkey Kong game. Yep.
I'm not even sure I'm on board with that.
Sorry. It's hey.
It's cool.
I don't make the rules. This is just how it goes. It's the best.
Yeah. Game. But anyway, so I do want to finish this conversation before we wrap up. So the other way they could do a remaster is if they remastered, say, a 3DS game for the Wii U. And I think there are a couple.
That happened with the recent One Piece game. That was on 3DS originally, and then it got ported to like PS3 and Wii U. So, but like I do think that two games immediately come to mind when I think of that. Kid Icarus Uprising, which everybody's just kind of been asking for dual stick control on that.
I haven't played that game yet because I don't want to play that game on the 3DS.
And Luigi's Mansion Dark Dawn.
Wasn't there a rumor about that actually coming to Wii U a while ago? We even covered it in Speculator forever.
Back when we had Speculator. So it's been a while. So like I could see that being the case. Also, like we haven't really heard anything from that studio. So like that.
The game had some really, really good animation.
Yeah.
So
yes,
that would definitely translate well to a large screen.
How about they bundle it with first Luigi's Mansion?
Okay, if they do Luigi's Mansion like remastered collection, that'd be pretty great too.
Yeah. That first game's pretty good, and it looks really good too. So.
Anyway, but
I'd be okay with that.
We'll see what comes of that. Hopefully, we'll hear soon about something. It's kind of been weird, Nintendo like went to Gamescom but didn't really have anything there to present.
They were just like, hey, we're Nintendo, here are our games we showed at E3.
And Nintendo's never at Tokyo Game Show.
Nope. Although they usually have a thing around Tokyo Game Show. And
like a direct of some kind.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if like the week before or week of or week after, sometime around the Tokyo Game Show, they will have some kind of Nintendo Direct with some new announcements for 2015 probably.
Yeah. And
maybe even release dates for 2014 games like Captain Toad. I want to play that game. When's it coming out, Nintendo?
I know, right?
That is the thing I really want to... if I had to... You know what? Hey, if I could get rid of most of... With the exception of maybe a couple of other games, like if there's one of the big 2014 games I want to play right now and I can give up the rest of them, Captain Toad would be one of those games.
Yeah.
Like I think it's for me, it's like Captain Toad and Dragon Age and maybe Persona Q. Give me those, I'll be happy for the rest of the year.
It'll be interesting to see if that game turns out as well as we hope it will. But yeah, no, absolutely, it's one of those things where like I hope we're talking about that game at the end of the year.
Yeah, because I mean, it's kind of in that dangerous spot where it's still technically scheduled for 2014, but I have a feeling it could be a Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze situation.
Oh
where,
no,
like,
we're getting Captain Toad.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Maybe
worry
Smash
that
Brothers
the
is that
scale of it is going to be small in order to make that happen. But no, we're going to absolutely get the one. Like I could see Bayonetta slipping.
Really, Bayonetta? I'd say Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers, I think, is going to come in hot. I think but I think Nintendo is under too much pressure. I think, at this point, like I wouldn't be surprised if they were like secretly like cutting a couple things in the. To get that out by the holidays. But I don't think Nintendo can. I just think it'll be out like maybe not worldwide by Christmas. Maybe Japan gets it later or something. But like they need to release it in North America by like the second week of December.
Yeah. Okay. I'd be okay with that. I can see watch them release both of those games on the same day. Watch them do it.
What?
Captain Toad and Super Smash Brothers.
Captain Toad will be ready earlier.
I'm just saying, watch them do it.
They might do it.
This is Nintendo we're talking about.
We're just going to release all of our games on the same day.
We delayed Smash Brothers for 3DS. We're going to release that the same day. And we delayed Bayonetta. We'll release that on the same day, too. Have fun.
Also, it's going to be like a Thursday. It's fine.
Yeah. It's it's going to be released. It's Saturday, exactly at 6 p.m.
We're releasing everything exactly on Thanksgiving Day. There won't be any stores open or anything, but it's fine.
Yeah. No one's going to deliver from Amazon, but it'll be out there.
Yeah.
Technically in stores, just the stores will be closed.
Locked up in stores.
Yeah. Sit outside the store for 24 hours and wait for them to be released the next day.
All right. Well, I think we should wrap up this episode. But yeah,
you've been just kind of wandering in Toe Jam and Earl here for a little while.
Yeah, which is great, But yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Andrew will be hosting and doing something. We'll figure it out. But, yeah. But for Andrew and Lucas, I'm Graham. See you.
Bye-bye.